cousin. Hey, cousin. I've been holding it
Hey,
down for
how
you.
you doing? How y'all
I'm doing
doing?
good. How are you?
Tired.
Oh, I bet. I
You know how
bet.
it is. I know how it is.
I bet. Oh.
Uh,
Well, it's
how
not gonna
you
be a
doing?
long show or nothing like that. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. You know, we just gotta put something out there so we can stay consistent, honey. So
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
yeah. But I've been holding it down and all that good stuff. I'm gonna chop this stuff up, put it on YouTube and all that. So
Okay.
yeah, definitely. What's been going on with you?
Oh, nothing. Just living a dream, living the life, you know, making plans and just. Uh, I'm sorry.
What?
What's that? What is that movie with the dog and she was dancing and she started getting
Oh,
those sweat?
Megan.
Megan, I just seen Joe's back. I was like, is that Megan?
You so doggone silly.
La la
You
right.
were silly.
But no, just like pretty much.
Did somebody come to the door?
There's a small child in your background.
Oh no, that's Chloe and Zoe.
Ah, ch-
Don't be scaring me like that,
ah,
honey. Shoot, cause
listen,
all the kids they gone.
listen. That nerd
uh,
don't like a child.
yeah, that's Chloe and Zoe back there.
Lord, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. But no, child, just living a life. I am pretty much prepping to go on the road, and I will be coming live from different locations for the, foreseeable
Okay.
future for the next few weeks. Well, sporadically, I have a lot of trips coming up. So on
Okay.
some of those weekends, I'll be coming live from different locations, you
Oh,
know.
good.
And one of them will be very, very close to our own Tamika.
Okay. Go ahead
Yes.
now. That's what's
Yes, yes,
up.
yes.
That's what's up. I
So,
had to fix
mhm.
this light because I look so pale. Golly.
But yeah, so I'll be filming and coming live and bringing our lovely, lovely topics from different locations around the good old US of A and also some international places as well.
Go
So,
ahead, cousin. Okay.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
That's
yes.
what it is. Go ahead.
So I
Go
can't wait to
ahead,
see
honey.
all of y'all around the world.
Oh,
And if you
definitely.
spot me, just come up and say hey.
Look, for real. Hey, that's what's.
I
I am so
know.
proud of you. I am
I
so proud
know.
of you. Definitely.
Yes. Okay. So what's
Definitely.
going on with you though?
Nothing much. Nothing at all. Just been working a lot. Just been
Oh,
working a lot and had some family in town. Well, got some family in town and all that stuff too. So just been chilling with them and making memories and all that good stuff because we don't get to see them a lot. So,
exactly.
but but yeah, just definitely doing that. But other than that, nothing
I feel
much.
you. I hear you.
Nothing
I hear
much.
you. You
Yes.
know, Lord, child, we got to get an international L&D show trip together. We have to, you know,
Yes.
do some meets and greets.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know,
Definitely, because we do have fans, overseas and all that stuff too. So you remember
exactly.
that time we did the call-in thing, and
Yes.
everyone called in, even
Mm-hmm.
people are overseas, they called in.
Child.
That was so
I
amazing.
remember, I remember like it was yesterday. A lady called, and all you heard was "Duva." I was like, okay,
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God. Because I
You
have an
know.
ex who's actually from Jacksonville, Florida. So
Mm-hmm.
when she said, I think she said like a nickname, and that's when I was like,
Yeah.
dude. So I was like,
I remember that. I remember. I think it was a guy from, was it Seattle or Portland or something like that.
yes.
Listen. I'll be trying to remember everybody who we've
Mm-hmm.
crossed. It's
Definitely.
hard to do, but I'll be trying to remember.
Right,
So
right, right.
anytime y'all have called or wrote in or anything, trust
We
me,
definitely
you're
appreciate
not
it.
forgotten. We appreciate it. We
No.
love it, and we take it all
Right.
to heart.
I
So
have to find those videos and like put them together and all that stuff and like
yes,
replay all that stuff because that was like the best. It made us
yes,
feel like we made it, you know,
we
and
mattered.
yes, and like we
Exactly.
mattered. Absolutely. That part too.
Yes, exactly.
That part. Well, speaking of the show and all that good stuff, they don't really know how the show came about, I guess you can say,
Hmm.
because we've never like really revealed that, and
True.
it just happened like in a conversation pretty much. It just happened in a conversation because we used to talk every single day.
Yes,
Yes, we talked every single day. And me, you, and Des, we talked every
yes.
single day. And so we was just like, I wonder how it would be if we put a show together.
I remember it all. Like I'll be laying across my couch, in the living room, and letting the good old natural light come in, and we'll start brainstorming. And I just remember sending y'all like a complete list of names. I'm
Yes.
like, we should call ourselves
Right.
this. This be the name of the
Right.
show. We
Right.
should talk about this. We should do this. We should do that. And I just remember, sitting there and trying to let my creative juices flow. And I'm like, Lala, what do you think about
Mhm.
this?
Yes. Yes.
Because we were so excited. We were
We were
extremely
super
excited
excited.
and ready to get everything off the ground. And next thing I know, we're sitting at the foot of your bed and we're like, hey, Periscope. Hey,
Yes.
Facebook. Hello, YouTube.
Yes. Do you remember
So
what the show was called though? The first show was called?
I remember the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
The actual name of it,
Yep.
I can't remember that, but I do know we talked about Monique.
We talked about Monique.
We talked
The
about Monique.
actual show, the first episode was called The Chat with L&D.
Yeah, listen. Things have come a
Things
long,
have come a long
long way.
way.
A
It
long
has
way.
come a long way.
Yes.
And it was like tackling that first episode. It was like, okay, am I going to remember the stories? Am I going to remember this stuff? Or is it all going to be, bumbled up and like
Everything
just
was like a
remixed?
learning curve. We was trying to be unique.
Yeah.
We was trying to stand apart.
Yeah.
At that time, nobody was going live from multiple platforms. And if you ask me, I say we were the first.
Yes.
I can't say for certain, but I feel like we were the first to go
Yes.
live from multiple platforms. We
Right.
didn't record multiple platforms. We went live
We went
from
live.
from multiple
We went
platforms.
live. And most of
So
the times we didn't know what we were going to talk about.
we
And
did.
we have friends to this day who have, started shows and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And like I tell them, like they have come to me for inspiration and all that stuff. And I just tell them, I'm like, just be yourself. If you have to create a character,
Yes.
do that. But it's not going to be easy.
No,
It's
it's
not going to
definitely
be
not an
easy.
easy journey. You know, I saw. Oh my God, what is her name? She's a comedian. She's played in a few movies. She actually played the mother on Coming to America too.
I haven't seen
Um,
that.
darn it! I forgot her name. Anywho, she pretty because right now Hollywood is going through a strike. The
Yes.
actors are not wanting to act, and
Mm.
because of pay and stuff of that nature. And she said something that really made sense to me. She was like, some of us have been in this career field for a long time, and some of us do not make any money. A few of us
Mm.
are lucky to make the money.
Yes.
Others don't make absolutely nothing. She said some of those writers that you were talking about and everything, they only get, paid for just that one episode, that one show, that one line. That's all they get paid for. And that's what the strike is about. And she said,
Wow.
and some of us don't make it for a long time. And she was like, I didn't make it till I was 47. I was
Wow.
like, I'm trying to remember her name. Oh my gosh, I think she played on Saturday Night Live as well.
Okay.
She's like the new host of uh It's like a shopping show. Remember the old show where they used to have like the buggy and they would run around the store?
You're not talking about
Um,
Niecy Nash.
Not Niecy
Not
Nash.
Niecy. No,
Not Niecy
you
Nash.
said a comedian.
This I want to assume that she's lesbian or part of the LGBT. I want to assume. I'm trying to remember her name. You know what? You just give me a split
Oh, you
second.
talking about Leslie? Leslie. What is her name? Leslie. What is her name,
Like
y'all?
I see her face like Leslie Jones.
Leslie
Leslie
Jones.
Jones.
Yes, yes.
So she was talking about the strike and everything, and she said herself, she did not make it till she was 47. So hearing her say that, and express it, I was like, sometimes I know us on the L&D show, primarily, Lala and myself, because we started this out.
Yes.
We get a little bit discouraged because we're just like,
Yes.
what, those numbers aren't there,
Right.
the views
Right.
sometimes aren't there, but sometimes we have that show that's just like, it goes,
It
it just
goes.
goes, it skyrockets.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, we got to stick with it. We got to
Yeah,
stick with it. We
absolutely.
have to keep pushing. We might not get what we want, and it's kind of like the Hollywood strike with some of those people, who are
Mm-hmm.
doing the work, but they're
Yes.
not getting the recognition that they desire at that point in time.
Right.
So that's what I thought about. I was like, Lala, myself, Tamika, Tina, even Dej, sometimes we might not get the recognition that we're absolutely looking for,
Mm-hmm.
but we are doing the work.
We are doing the
We're
work.
doing the work, and
Absolutely.
we're going to finally have that major breakthrough. You just wait and you see.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We're going to be
That
walking
part.
down the street, and it's going to be like a little crowd of people, like, oh, hey, yeah,
Right.
all
Right.
right. I get to you to see the second girl. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I
We're going to
cannot
be
wait to go
bombarded.
through, the line at Zaxby's and all that stuff and be like, hey, I want to, they can be like, I know that voice. I know that voice. You want a 10-piece chicken fingers, large fries with
Not
extra
them
seasoning, two
titties.
extra Zax sauces, and a large sweet tea. That's Lala. Yes,
Your
girl.
Lala in the drive-thru.
Right, honey, your total is 20. No, boo boo. Your total
Oh,
is $5. Thank
oh,
you, boo.
not you get the discount. Not you getting the discount. And that's not even the senior discount. That's the employee discount
That's
you just
the
got.
employee discount.
That's the employee discount.
Right. Get to the window. They be like, oh girl, get that to her for free. That's
Listen,
Lala.
she might shout us out.
Right. Right. But speaking of, a strike and all that stuff, I have been watching Jack A.
Mm,
Harry on, doing interviews and all that stuff. And she was talking about Marla Gibbs and everything. And she was talking about she was talking herself, Jack A winning an Emmy award. Hi, Brett. How are you? Hi, nice to see you. Hope all is well. She was talking about herself winning an Emmy award and everything.
mm,
And she won for supporting actress. Jack A did.
mm-hmm.
But she said, back during the Jeffersons, what is her name? Wheezy.
Wheezy.
Yes, but
Uh-huh.
what is her real name?
Oh, if you just say it. Mm.
Oh my gosh. I want to call her by her real name. I don't want to call her Wheezy.
That was Isabel Stanford.
Isabel Sanford.
Yeah.
Yes, Isabel.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Sanford, she actually won for leading actress an Emmy Award, but it was unnoticed because there was a strike. So nobody talked about it. No one, and she was never given her flowers for that. And
Mm-mm.
she was the first black leading actress to win an Emmy Award. And she was not praised for that. But Jack A, on the other hand, when she won for 227, she won as a supporting
Supporting
actress.
actress.
Right. But she was everywhere after that. She was praised for it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But she gave Miss Sanford her flowers and said, well, I was not the first black female. Isabel Sanford was the first black female for a leading role. And she was not, giving her flowers.
I wonder, speaking of Jack A, I wonder when she played Sister Sister, was she cast as a leading role or a supporting role,
That's a
given,
good
you
question.
know, Tia and Tamir, it was based around them. Like, I wonder
Right.
would she still be considered a leading role? Her and his name's not Ray Campbell. I think his
Tim
real name
Reed.
is
Tim
Ray.
Reed.
Tim Reed. Tim Reed.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder were they leading characters, kind of like
Right.
Marquise Houston. I would assume he was probably a supporting actor,
He was probably supporting.
but his character became more, known, kind of like Family Matters. You
Yes.
know, uh,
Yes. Steve Urkel.
Jaleel White was
Jaleel
cast as a
White.
supporting actor and became a main
Mm-hmm.
character. So,
Right.
you
Right.
know,
Right.
so I think probably the same thing happened with Marquise Houston on down the road, with
Mm-hmm.
that. So,
Yeah, and
especially
Jack
after he had
A.
his good summer.
Right, right. And Jack A, she said she didn't want to do Sister Sister. After, being like that sex symbol for so long, after
Hmm.
coming off of 227 and Sandra Clark and all that stuff,
Hmm.
she said she didn't want to do it because it would make her lose her sex appeal as like for being a mother.
Hmm.
So that was kind of tough for her to do, but she went ahead and did it and she killed it. And she was still
She was
sexy.
still sexy. I was like,
She was
they
still
probably like
sexy.
revamped it a little bit. Then probably
Right.
when they did her pretty much being like a clothing, not a clothing model, but a clothing a fashion person. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So but she still
Especially when
killed
she
it.
used to have those men come over to the house, honey. I think there
Yeah.
was one in particular. She had stopped up the I want to say either it was a dishwasher or it was the garbage disposal. She had stopped up on purpose to have this guy to come over.
Uh,
And come to find out, he was married. And so she was like, go, 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 go. So it's just like,
I was say she would still do that 227 voice sometimes. So she'd be
right,
like,
right,
Ray,
right, exactly.
Ray. Mm.
Child. And speaking of 227, Marla Gibbs has never won an Emmy or an NAACP or
Uh,
how you say it? NAACP or NAACP. NAACP.
mhm.
She has never won an award for any of that, but she has been nominated for an NAACP award, but she has never won.
That's like darn it. What is the mother from who's Moesha's mother?
You talking about Cheryl Lee Ralph. Like
Yes.
Cheryl Lee Ralph. Sorry,
Yes.
Cheryl. Sorry, Auntie
It was
Cheryl.
like even for her, she wasn't getting that recognition. She was playing in things, she was
Mhm.
killing her roles. And when it came down to, pretty much the awards, it was just like, yeah, you got an invitation.
Oh wow.
So it took a long time
Yeah.
before she finally started getting her flowers. Because I think it
Right.
was like maybe the first like maybe like 2 or 3 years ago that she finally started getting really recognized and getting her
Mm.
awards. And I think it was it Abbott Elementary?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Quinta
Yes.
Bronson.
Hmm.
Yes. I love Quinta Bronson. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, T. Hey, T. She said we look good. Y'all look good.
But yeah, I mean, it was like once she became of a certain age and
Mm.
she had to kind of like recapture certain things from her youth, it was like
Yeah.
that's when it was like, okay, she good. But no, she's been good. She's been great. You know,
Yeah.
there was things that she played that I never even knew. I think I seen a movie clip of her and it was like, I don't want to say she was a hooker,
Ooh.
but she was more like a kilt woman in the movie.
Okay.
And she was pretty much like she gets what she wants when she wants it, and I was like, okay.
Oh wow.
She had on this like red dress. I don't know if during that era, it was like you couldn't really find a plus size woman. It was all skinny and
Yes, they
long
had definitely had a
legs and
type in Hollywood.
yes. I mean,
Mhm.
like you could not find a heavyset woman to save your life. At least not on TV,
Right.
unless she was the maid. But
Right.
any female actress, she was always skinny. Had a nice chest, little
Mhm.
bunkum back there.
Right. Right.
So she pretty much played that role. And
Wow.
she looked good doing it.
Well, that's what's up.
Mm.
That's what's up. But yes, shout out to everyone who have been even nominated, but who has actually won and who has not been, viewed or looked at or given their flowers to while they were living.
Hmm.
And for that to happen to Miss Isabel Sanford, I have always loved her character on The Jeffersons. I've
Yeah,
always loved her characters, or her character, and how she kept herself and how she, did her lines and all this stuff. Because she was the ones who incorporated the funny stuff in her lines. She was like,
yeah.
let's, but why don't I do this? Why don't he come up behind me? He scares me, or whatever. So so she was the ones who did all that stuff, and I'm just like, for her to not get her flowers, that is like crazy.
Especially her and her Mother Jefferson scenes. Oh, I
Oh
used to absolutely
yes,
love that because Mother Jefferson,
yes.
she would give her such a hard
She would
time,
give us such a hard time.
and she'd be like, "I don't like this tea." George made it. Oh, I love.
Ugh, I love it. She's
Actually,
like
Mother Jefferson, I
tea,
made the tea.
right? Yeah, those two right there. Oh my gosh, those two. I put Mother Jefferson, Wheezy, and then George Jefferson and Florence. And then you
Yes,
got, on crossing over to Martin and Pam and all that stuff. Like it all trickles down,
yes.
even into like today's TV shows. Is still there with the whole nemesis and all that stuff. They make
Hmm.
it, making it funny.
Makes it good.
So,
Makes it fun. Makes for entertainment. Good entertainment. But you
definitely.
got to have that pretty much their own set.
Yeah.
Chemistry sometimes as well.
Right.
So if
I
you
think the
have it, you
Princess
have
light.
it. If you don't, it'll show. So
Right. Okay. This light is killing me. My gosh. It's just, and it's still there. It's still there. It's
it's
making me
still
like
there.
so pale. But
Lord.
I have to get a new light because my dogs actually chewed my cord and all
Ooh.
that stuff. I know, right? It's a good thing that little butts and get electrocuted.
Mm,
But
mm. Hot dog.
Lord, Joe. But I don't really leave it plugged up anyways. But this particular day, I guess I didn't wrap it up before I like left off to go to work. Came
Mm.
back home, child, and there was pieces of cords everywhere. I said, "Where did y'all get this from?" And I was sitting there following it, and next thing you know, child, I'm like, "My light!" I said,
It is
"My light!"
always amazing if you have a pet that can get into something and you don't think about it before they think about it.
Yeah.
It
Oh
is
yeah.
always unique.
Right.
You
Right.
think about like dogs of shoes and stuff, and how you always have your shoes put up. Or the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with cats with draping things. So
Yes.
if you
Yes.
don't think about it before they think about it, oh, trust and believe they will get into it. And as you know, I have a bearded dragon, and he's street
Oh.
roaming. So some days I will come home and I have to cut on every light in the house. I'm like, where is he at?
Oh my
So I don't end
gosh.
up stepping on him. I stepped on him
Oh.
once and I felt horrible. So, but
Oh.
just like cats and dogs,
I'd be
they have their own
terrified.
personality and they can get into different things. And I was looking for him one day and I'm like, where is he? This darn thing done crawled to the furthest place in the house he could find,
Oh
got
gosh.
himself propped up against the wall, and you're like, how did you get back there? And where'd the sock come from?
Oh wow.
You
So
brought the
wait,
sock underneath the tree with you?
were you ever scared of it at
No.
first? No? What?
Mm.
I'd be
See, I'm
terrified.
I'm a reptile person. I'm an exotic animal type person.
You like
So
snakes?
I like snakes. Snakes are not necessarily my favorite reptile, because they tend to lash out a bit more than other reptiles. But I do like snakes as well. But like I said, I'm more of an exotic. So me having a dog is fun, it's cute and everything, but I want to probably have a dog that's more, we need to watch him.
Oh, got you.
I'm a wolf
Got
dog
you.
person.
Got
you
you.
know, I'm that
Definitely.
person that wants to push the boundaries and have animal control show up at the house. I'm like, hey, do you have papers on your dog? Get off my property, follow my dog.
Dang.
Because I
Phew.
want I want the exotic animal. I want to be the only man in the neighborhood that got 4 horses.
Oh
He
wow.
will live in the city.
Child, and I can see that too. I can definitely see that.
Listen,
I
see
can
me riding
definitely
down
see it.
85 on a Clydesdale.
Oh my gosh, I could definitely see that.
Lord. Yeah, so that is definitely me. I prefer something more exotic than
Yeah.
traditional. You
Okay.
know,
Okay.
so if I get a cat, it's probably not going to be your orange cat, black cat. I'm probably gonna get a Sphinx.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hmm.
Child, I can't do cats no more. Mm-mm.
Ugh.
I only had
Oh, they're
two in my
crazy.
life.
They're crazy. They are crazy.
They have too many. They
They
have attitudes. Oh,
they do. And see, the one that I want, they has attitude. Like,
oh Lord.
will seriously be sitting there because they don't have the typical meow. They will actually hiss at you, and they could be nice. They could be saying thank you, but it's a
Mm.
hiss. You're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna move my
Hiss
hand
your
back.
ass on out the door.
Mm.
Child. Mm-mm. No, thank you. I don't do
Hmm.
that.
Jump. Look, there is no South Mine County. You got to really train that particular cat because, yeah,
Mm-mm.
that cat's gonna do whatever it wants to do when it wants to do it, and probably will be sitting, on your couch with one claw out, like I wish you would come over here.
Oh no.
Because they're crazy. They have that type of personality, but you go treat them like a dog.
Mm.
That's the thing. You can treat them like a dog. You can seriously walk that cat like a dog.
Wow.
It's
So is
that
that
is their
is that
personality.
the ones that have the collars on them and everything? That's a Sphinx cat, pretty much. They
Pure,
have some
typical.
collars.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. I've
The ones
yeah.
with the really long legs and the sleek
Yes.
body, and
Mm-hmm.
the nice coloration, and they look like a wild
Mm-hmm.
cat. Yeah,
Yes. Oh
that cat.
goodness. Oh
The
child.
only wild cat that you can typically domesticate.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Oh my
But
goodness.
yes, so that is
Child.
more me when it comes down to animals. And I know, like I said, like I just said, if you don't think about it before they do,
Yeah.
oh, it's over. And you know me, I have racks of clothes, so I probably come
Yeah.
home and be like,
It'll be shredded.
oh,
Shredded. What?
oh,
Shredded. Oh my
he got to
gosh.
go. He got to
Oh,
go.
I'm sorry.
You got to get you. No, you going to the pound.
Rest in peace to that new outfit. What?
Everything's a new outfit at that point.
Exactly.
I ain't never had so many
Child.
ripped jeans in my life.
My goodness. And I can see it too. I can see it.
Oh my goodness.
Throw the whole
Uh,
cat away.
I'm gonna call Des. Come get this demon cat.
What, honey?
Y'all will get along better probably.
They probably would.
Your
I don't
demonic
know.
ways.
I wouldn't trust Diz with no animals. I just that's just like Diz, can you babysit my kid real fast? Well, that's okay. Never mind. I'm gonna just take him on down the street real fast. I'm taking him on down the street. I forgot who
Having
I'm talking
fed
to.
the child, then let the child get a good nap in. We watch what I want to watch. I can see right now. Auntie Des, can I watch TV? I'm playing the game.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's
I'm
not a
the
good idea.
child. You at my house. Ooh,
Right.
okay.
And Dez will be telling the child, go fix you some water. Go get me this. Go get me that.
Mm.
Go do this.
By the
Honey.
time you get back to pick up your child is low level enslaved.
Right. Right. You were like, you okay? Me in the car just passed out.
My child walks to the car like this, head down,
Right.
just slumped over in the car.
Like one of those
Spirits just
Sims.
broke.
Like one of those Sims, like when you ever
Uh,
fed them. Yes.
spirits just broke.
Oh Lord,
Lord have
Des, we
mercy.
love you, cousin. We love you,
We
honey.
do. We do. Can't help but to.
All
You got no
right.
choice. Lord have mercy.
All right.
We got to keep an eye on you.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
But speaking of the show and everything, do you have any favorite moments that you could think of off the top of your head from the show? It doesn't matter which season.
I don't know what season this was. I don't know what episode it was. All I remember is I think we was talking to somebody live on the show, and we seen how he looked. And next thing I know, I pushed you out your chair.
Yes, I remember that because we were like dreads.
Mm-hmm.
You was like ba la la. Damn.
And it was so funny because you know how you see like in like comedy skits or whatever, how somebody's like legs go do that like
Yes.
all I always
Yes.
see was what?
Right.
Lala was go.
Right.
You
Oh
said
my
your head coming because
gosh.
he's like,
Oh my goodness. Look, child, that was hilarious. Those used to be the
well,
days.
dang.
And I
This
think
for your
there was one time where I got back up, but I had fell again pretty much because I
uh
tripped up like and get my
like the
stamina
light
up.
went over with you and everything.
What? I was like, oh
I'm
my
like, oh
god.
Jesus,
And
Jesus,
those
fix it, Lord.
Denzel, he loved those moments. He
He
did.
loves seeing you get hurt.
Child.
He definitely loves seeing you get hurt.
I'm
Oh,
definitely not sitting
clumsy
next to him at no
Lala,
event.
drunk Lala.
Right,
She had it
honey. He loves it when
again.
I get drunk, honey. The show wasn't good because you was not drunk. I'm
Mm.
like, damn.
I'm like, oh
I gotta
God.
get drunk for us to have a good show. Like, no.
Yes. Yes.
What?
I'm like, okay.
Oh
All
shoot.
right. So was there a favorite moment that you could think of? I mean, I have a lot of favorite moments, but was there one you can think of?
My favorite moment, honestly, off the top of my head, is having Dawn Robinson from In
Ooh,
Vogue on our show. That was huge. That was
yes.
huge. And it goes to show that anything is possible. And for her to be as big as she is, even though she hasn't, done anything, as far as she like recently wise, but she's still huge. She's a legend. She's legendary. She's
Mm-hmm.
one of the original In Vogue members, one of the four originals.
I mean,
So
she can still walk down the street and get recognized
she
any
can
day of
still
the
walk down the
week.
street and get
You know,
recognized and all that stuff. So, and
yeah.
I'm really hoping for them, like the four of them, to get back together and all that stuff. But I don't think it's gonna happen.
Mm.
I don't think that's gonna
That's the
happen.
thing with groups and soloists. You know, if you start as a group and you don't have that breakaway and it's not pleasant,
Hmm.
or somebody gets pushed out, it's hard.
Yeah.
It really is hard, and I think that's one of the reasons why when it comes down to us and everything, I try to make sure that we're all respectful, we're all
Yeah.
understand each other's point of view, because I don't ever want us to be 10 years down the road. We have all made it individually or as a group,
Yes.
but
Yes.
we're doing interviews with somebody and they're like, so tell us about that one of those moments when you just couldn't stand the group. It's
Right.
like, huh?
Yeah.
Well, when you and Tamika, why did you fall out? Huh?
Right. Right.
I don't want those moments. I
Right.
don't want to be on somebody's talk show being interviewed and they're asking why did you and I part ways, or why did I
AKA
never
Wendy
liked you,
Williams. They don't want you don't want them to Wendy
things
Williams
of that
us.
nature. I
So
don't want that. You
yeah,
know. So I just
definitely.
want it to always be anytime we come together, even if we
Right.
end up splitting and parting ways, whatever, anytime we come together, it's like we never left.
We never left.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There will always be that
Absolutely.
connection, you
Right.
know.
Right. That's what's up right there. And hopefully one of these days we can, how they be doing like these little award shows, around South Carolina and everything.
Hmm.
Hopefully we can, get on one of the lists.
Exactly.
At least if not if we don't win, at least nominate us. Nominate us, nominate us. At least we'll be nominated. That's,
Exactly.
until we do
A
win.
nomination is always great because that means that somebody's watching, somebody's
Yeah.
listening,
Yeah.
somebody liked
Right.
something.
Right. Right.
It just that alone will speak volumes for something else to come
Hmm.
along.
Definitely. Definitely.
Because like they always say, all publicity is good publicity. So
Yep. That's true. That's definitely true. But we're
depends on how
definitely
you
gonna get
spend it.
there. We're definitely
So
gonna get there. So
exactly.
definitely keep working. But any other memories from the show that you have that you could think of?
Uh, Lord have mercy. Like pretty much like Denzel, saying, you know, I like those moments when we pretty much pregame a little bit before the show,
Oh, definitely. Yes, the
and
pre
then
games
it
are already
shows
fun.
through.
Cause that,
It will
honey,
show
that
through.
liquor just started kicking
Yeah,
in, and it kicks
but
in.
see, I think here's the thing: when we were both in the same setting, and I was the one making the drinks. And next thing you know, Lala is 3 drinks in,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Hey,
Right.
hey,
Right.
who is getting a little hot?"
Right.
But
See?
see, now Lala makes her own drinks for the most part, and she pours it lightly.
Yeah. Look, I pour it lightly on purpose, honey. I have to. I have to because I don't want to be
What?
sloshed. I don't
Uh,
want to be sloshed during the show. What is that? You made a drink when we were together here on one of the shows and we put like some candies in it. Was it like Skittles?
oh yes,
Different
you
colors.
get you get the original
Smirnoff.
Smirnoff,
Yeah.
which is the white translucent color one. You just take a quick sip of it. Get you like some Skittles or something, some type of candy
Okay.
that
Yeah.
has like the coating over it. So you separate it into a color, you put it into the Smirnoff, and typically it even takes on that particular flavor as well. So like you have green
Hmm.
apple, it'll kind of, take on a green apple taste, and that I love it. I still
Yeah.
do that to this day. I
Oh,
still do
that's
that
what's
to
up.
this
I
day.
have to.
Yes.
I have to do that. I have to
I
do that.
recommend everybody do it at least once. Just get your favorite Skittles. It can be the tropical kind. It doesn't matter what it is. Get the original Smirnoff and drop it, into there. Let it
Hmm.
sit for a few minutes. Maybe take another drink somewhere else until that,
Yeah.
does its thing. Come back and you have a new drink that's alcoholic. So and it tastes wonderful. It really does.
Wow.
And since how it tastes like candy,
Yeah.
it becomes one of those drinks that kind of sneak up on you
Mm.
because you've been drunk 4 of them without
Ooh.
realizing, oh, this alcohol.
Yes. And it definitely did sneak up on me too. It
Yes.
definitely snuck up on me. It did.
I love them. I absolutely love them.
Oh
So
shoot.
it's one of my favorites.
I'm trying to
You know.
think. Another favorite moment from the show. Oh, I don't think season two. Was it season two or season three? Season two. I think it was season two of the show. Um, I don't think that was my favorite season, but it was very memorable because at that time I was going like through the breakup and all that stuff.
Mm.
And with one of my exes. So, that show alone really helped me get through those dark times or whatever. So, I
I
look
think we had a
back
lot,
at
lot
that.
more, serious conversations and topics during
Yeah,
season two.
definitely,
You
definitely. And I
know,
look back at that sometimes and I'm like, dang, and I remember what I was going through at that time, but you could never see that. You
Mm.
could
I
never
think
see it.
you and I actually discussed that in season two with audience members, and we was like, sometimes y'all don't understand the things that
Yeah.
we go through prior to the show. And it's like once the camera, once that light turns red or the camera starts,
Right.
countdown happens or whatever,
Countdown
we
happens.
go from huh to hey.
Hey, welcome to the
Yeah.
L&D show.
Like you will never know. Like you don't
Right.
know. And some days that was our outlet as well,
Yeah,
where we
definitely.
went through so much during the week. We just felt like giving up. And then once the camera
Hmm.
started rolling, we was like, finally,
Finally.
something good,
Right.
something positive, something that I can just release everything into the universe with and
Yes.
just take it off of me. Not necessarily saying put it onto you, but just let it go.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
And speaking of releasing it into the universe, um, who would you like to have on the show in the future one day?
In the future, who would I love to? You know, I didn't start off as one of her fans. I'm not a super fan, because who I'm a super fan of, and there'll never be another one like him. But
Yes. Yes.
if we can get Cardi onto the show,
Cardi B? Okay.
I would like if we can get Cardi onto the show, do an interview with her. Because remember, I remember an episode what we did, and I was just like, her interviews are just because it's her voice sometimes, and
Uh-huh.
but she's kind of come a long way,
She's come a long
and
ways.
she's more iconic now and everything. So I would love to, you know what? I would love to have a panel of female rappers.
Mm.
Maybe two from old school, maybe two from new school.
Yeah.
Like Queen
Queen
Latifah.
Latifah. Yes,
Yes,
definitely.
like Queen
Definitely.
Latifah, maybe Foxy Brown.
Okay.
Um, in new school, maybe Cardi. Um, Nikki is kind of in between the new and the old. Would you place her in more new school?
You're right.
Or would you think she's more old school, seeing as how she's been in the game for it's been what 15 plus years now, right?
I would consider Nikki new school. I would
Okay.
consider Nikki new school. Um, because Little Kim is old school.
Hmm.
I would consider Little Kim old school.
Okay.
So,
Like, see, if we could do that something like that, then
hmm,
like I said, Queen Latifah, Foxy Brown, just somebody old school.
yeah, yeah,
I would love, love, love that. A
right,
panel of
absolutely.
new school meets old school, you
Hmm.
know, rap hip hop.
Definitely,
You know,
definitely.
that would be great.
Right,
I would love to do that.
right.
You know,
Well, one person I would love to have on the show is the first person we ever talked about, Monique. I would love for her to, I would love to interview her,
yes.
and just to get her story, her truth, and all that good stuff. Is my lighting off to you now? Is it like way
Something
off?
went gray. I thought maybe it was my glasses. I
Yeah,
don't know.
something did go great. I seen that too.
I
What
ain't
did
know
they
what
see?
happened. I thought something went gray. I was, it's
Bring some
bad.
color back up in here. Okay. All right, cool.
Speaking of Monique, apparently Tiffany Haddish co-signed for her and was like, "It's true. They are doing this out here in Hollywood. They are doing this, with us, and that was one of the reasons why she went down as well and had to climb her way back up. You
You
know,
talking about Tiffany Haddish?
Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah, and it's like once you speak the truth and all that stuff, that's when they shun you. That's when they
Yeah,
shun you, and it's
like
like
she
that's
co-signed and
that's
said
so
Monique
not
is telling the
fair.
truth.
Right.
Like
And
she was like
I
Monique is telling the truth, and then it was like that's when all of a sudden, if you really look back at it, that's when all of a sudden, oh, Tiffany and this guy did this to somebody.
oh
Tiffany
yes.
Haddish, was caught doing this. Tiffany Haddish
Yes.
doesn't have any money. It was like there was so many negatives about Tiffany Haddish once she
Right.
co-signed for Monique.
That's crazy. That's
Mhm.
crazy. And
And you don't think that that's really how these industries operate, but they
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to be careful sometimes.
That's true.
It's one thing to keep it real, but sometimes you got to know how to navigate the waters.
Navigate it
You know.
exactly.
hmm
But one thing I loved about Monique is that she stayed true
hmm
all
The
of this
whole
time.
time.
She stayed, and even to today, she would still tell it. Like she stayed true, and she's kept her word, and everything never changed. Like nothing never
The story
changed.
never changed.
The
No
story never
details ever
changed.
changed. So and the one thing I've learned, with that, or that I was taught, I should say, I was taught by, my grandparents that if you want to catch somebody in the lie, you ask them something and then you stop talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come back and you ask them again.
And
And maybe do it a third time, just be for
mhm.
sure. But you don't keep talking about it. You
Right,
just let it be. And if the story never changes, they don't
it's the
add or take
truth.
away any major details. Sometimes you might forget one little small thing. But like I say, if they don't take away any major or add any major details to it,
Yeah,
they were telling the truth the
they telling the
whole
truth
time. The whole time.
the whole
Because you got
time.
to remember a lie.
Yeah,
But the truth,
right,
you don't have to think about it too hard. Because
right.
it happened. You did it. Just said it.
That makes me think about how Lee Daniels must have felt too, because Precious was the movie that pretty much
Started
got
him.
this whole thing started with
Mm.
Monique. As far as her, telling how everything went down. But I remember that people, they never did say Lee Daniels movie. They always called it the Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey movie.
And that's
They
the thing.
yeah.
So,
Tyler Perry's Precious or Oprah's Precious.
mhm,
They never said Lee Daniels' name. So my thing with that is, how did he feel with people just assuming that this was Tyler Perry's movie or Oprah's movie when they was just backing it up for Lee Daniels?
because they had the name.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie Daniels was still up and coming. They had the name, you
God.
know,
Oh.
and it's kind of like when you put in a lot of work for something to succeed,
Mm-hmm.
and you do it with people whose names are bigger and not better, but bigger than yours,
Yes.
you know, and at the end of the movie or at the end of the song, or whatever, you're looking at the credits and you're like, what's my name? What's my name? What's my name? What's my name?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just that smaller print,
Right. Right.
you know, that that's all they gave me.
Right.
But the people, whose names are bigger and they've been out there longer, or they just have the fan base, those are the ones who get the lighting. Like, you can be
Mm-hmm.
sitting on the exact same panel as them or something, talking about the project, and they
Right.
might put you on the very end where there's like a little bit of light. And
Oh,
you're holding your own little mic, and that mic for some reason just keeps cutting out. But
right. Yeah. Oh,
that's how it
oh, that's
goes.
crazy. That is crazy.
That's how
But
it goes.
I have always wondered, how did he feel through this whole situation of people just assuming that it was a Tyler Perry or Oprah Winfrey film when it was actually a Lee Daniels
The
film.
Lee Daniels film.
So I can even imagine how, Monique felt when they told her to go promote this. I think it was overseas. They wanted her to promote the
Overseas.
movie, and they wanted her to promote it for free. Like, she was not getting paid for that. So, and was it Precious she won an Oscar on, or was she an Oscar winner before Precious? I forget.
I
I
think that
want
was
to.
that was one of her Oscar wins, because
That was one of her Oscar wins.
the one thing
Okay.
that some people never really, thought about or really took the time to research, Monique has been getting awards for a long time.
She said she was the most decorated.
Yeah,
She
she's been
said
getting
she was
awards
the
for a
most
long time.
decorated.
Yeah,
I think she
and
said
if
she
you if she
surpassed
you can fact check
Whoopi
it.
Goldberg. I think she said
Mhm.
she surpassed Whoopi Goldberg. So
Mhm.
yeah, I was like, wait, what? So
I
damn.
mean, there are a lot of movies out there that Monique starred in that did great. Even some like made for TV type movies,
Hmm.
that she did, they did fantastic.
Right.
Even when she was just a supporting actor in some of them.
Mm.
Like some movies, if you look at them today, you're like, wow, I didn't know how good that was. I
Right.
didn't know how funny that was. I didn't know how
Right.
iconic that was. But back in the day, it was like, it's just a movie. But but you
Mm.
rewatch it today, you're like, oh, wow, that had a message in it. So,
Right. Absolutely.
and some
Absolutely.
movies were like that.
Right. And I truly feel that Monique is like one of the foundations of the L&D show. Because that's who we started out talking
Yeah,
about. And when we came back from the hiatus or whatever, she was in the news again for
again,
something,
again,
and it was like, dang, like
again.
we're coming right back. But I don't think we talked about it at
I
that
think we did
time.
talk about it. I think we
Did we
started
talk
off with
about
like,
it?
she's in the news again. This is what happened. This is how it went down.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow. It was like we started on her for the first season. The second season started with Monique again. It
Oh,
was like
Lord.
we can't get away from Monique. So
Right. Right. That's who we should be getting on the show
it
is
is
Monique.
Monique.
Yeah, definitely.
Monique.
Because we love Monique and we have
Yes,
nothing but love for Monique. And the
exactly.
fact that she has always stood her ground. And even when, the real were talking about her and all that stuff, and she actually went on the real to, not confront them, but actually have a conversation with them to
Mhm.
tell them what it was and how it is.
See,
And
that's the thing with Monique. You know, throughout this entire ordeal, she has never, apart from her comedy shows,
mhm.
but she has never really gotten up and said, I'm gonna scream and shout. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna throw a temper tantrum. She has really talked,
Right.
and she was grown. You
Right.
know, this how it happened. This went down like this. I still have love for you, my brother. I still have
Mm-hmm.
love for you, my sister. You
Right.
know, my precious babies. That's how
Right.
she
She
talked
has
the
never talked down to
entire time.
nobody. Right.
She was not getting up and pretty much bashing anybody, but
Right.
she also let you know in a polite way where we stand.
Where we stand.
You said this.
And
I
sometimes you be
wasn't
looking
feeling
like,
that.
damn, should I cry or should I say thank you? I don't know.
Because I'm saying because she
Thank
did it
you.
so politely that you was just like, okay, I feel bad for what I
And
said.
I felt bad what I said, but
I feel bad for what I said.
thank
She
you for
still
that.
loves me.
Right. She still
So,
loves me.
and that's how she did it the entire time.
Right.
Even when we talked about her with the bonnet thing,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
she did not necessarily bash the girls or anything. She's like, y'all are beautiful queens.
Yeah.
Y'all need to, represent yourselves as such. I don't want to see this mess. It's like she gave you that auntie, you
Right.
know, like I don't want to see this mess. Y'all need to do better for yourselves. And I'm like, I agree. It's the same
Right.
thing with guys as well. Don't be going out in the do rags and the slippers and driving your girl's
Mm-hmm.
car and everything.
Right.
Do better for
Absolutely.
yourself you know,
Absolutely. That is crazy.
represent what you want to be, that person that you want to be
Yeah,
seen
definitely.
as, you know.
Definitely. Definitely. So, but yes, if we can at least put that out in the universe to get Monique on the show, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I loved her in the Parkers. She was my favorite,
Uh,
aside from Kim on the Parkers and all that stuff. So loved her. Her and that deal and their, scandals and
hmm
situations with the professor and all that stuff. Loved that. But she was asked like maybe a year or two ago, I want to say about like a year ago, if there would ever be like a reunion for the Parkers. And she said that Yvette Wilson, who played Adele, she's no longer here.
exactly.
So I don't think there
It
will
won't
be a
be.
reunion. Mm-mm.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of how with Martin. There was the reunion, and we was all under the impression it was getting revamped,
It was getting
and I think
revamped.
they pretty much was like, you know what, that wouldn't be
Hmm.
right.
Yeah, without
Let's do
Tommy.
it like this.
Hmm.
We have a reunion show. We give honor,
Yes.
uh, and we'll leave it at that. We'll,
Right.
we'll leave it at that. We'll get the closure that the show needed.
Hmm.
So, and it could kind of be the same way, with the Parkers. Even though the Parkers, I
Yeah,
think they actually had a successful closing.
they
I
did.
think they closed pretty much with Monique and the professor, getting married.
Well, Countess Vaughn and Shar Jackson, they are doing a show. I think it's going to be on Tubi, and it's
Mhm.
called Kim and Niecy. So I think they're reprising their roles as Kim Parker and Niecy from Moesha. So I don't know
I'm
how
gonna
that's
need
going to
to.
go.
I'm gonna need to see this. I really
Yeah,
am. I want to see how this will play out. I don't want to say
right,
anything. I don't want to say anything
right.
as of yet, but I
Yeah.
want to see how it's going to play out, how it's
Of
going to
course, they're
look.
probably going to
You know.
have kids and all that stuff, and
hmm
it's gonna probably be centered probably around the kids,
hmm
kind of like how Raven did, because
Raven's
Raven
house.
came back, she came back with Raven's home and everything, and it's centered around the kids and all that stuff. It
Yeah.
still has her in it, and it's still funny. But I know Sister, they were talking about doing like a reboot and all that stuff too. And I was kind of ready for that. Then I was like, well, you know, T and Tamara, y'all done got kind of older for y'all shenanigans and all that stuff.
hmm
So y'all would either have to have kids, or y'all would both have to have a set of twins.
Something along the lines of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was Tia. I think it was Tia that fully embraced the aging process.
Mm-hmm.
She stopped coloring her hair.
Yeah.
She had showed, some of her grays and stuff off.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was Tia. It could have been Tamara, but I really want to say it was Tia.
I think it was
Who I
Tia.
who I who I saw, and she was just like natural. She's like, this is natural.
Mm-hmm.
So if they were to bring it back, they wouldn't necessarily have to do too much makeup as far as de-aging them,
Yeah,
but they would have to
right,
start doing, hair coloring and, you know, a
right.
few things so that certain fast-paced things wouldn't make them look slower, you
Exactly.
know. But I
Exactly.
mean, even though they're not like ancient or anything of that nature, I think
Hmm.
they have both hit their late 40s.
I believe they're, yeah, late or mid 40s, mid to
Yeah,
late 40s.
mid to late 40s.
Hmm.
So I mean, even though they can still keep up,
Yeah,
you know, it
definitely.
would certain things would show. Certain things would
Absolutely.
show. Certain things would be very relevant. About
Right.
the original Tia Tamara from the show,
Hmm.
and now
Yeah.
you for those who actually grew up with it, got to
Yes.
be very careful
Very
because we're going to
careful.
be some of the toughest critics.
Absolutely.
you know, we
Absolutely. And
love you,
I think they did
but
it
that
with,
wasn't the best thing.
right. They did it with Full House, and they
Hmm.
revamped it. The Full House had the original
Fuller
cast
House.
come
Hmm.
back as, reprising their roles, and I think it did work. Because they went for like 5 or 6 seasons, I believe. So they really did good. But
I
then they,
think
but then again, they
Fuller
like
House
lost
ended
me.
up having a different audience.
They did.
I think they ended up having a
They
different
did.
audience. That's the reason why it worked. But like I said, for those who grew up with certain things, see, I never really watched Fuller House. I don't think I even watched the first episode. And one of the reasons is because, like I said, I grew up with it. I wasn't when we weren't going to see the father. We weren't going to see Mary Kate or Ashley. So those two major roles not being incorporated into the revamp in some way, shape, or form.
Well, they did have the father in there.
I thought he wasn't on there.
He was on there. So they had the father on it. They just didn't have Mary Kate and Ashley on there.
Okay.
That train is super loud, and it's like all the way across town. It's like it's coming to my bedroom
Was
window,
he
child.
guest starring or was he a main role?
He was a supporting role. So the who was it? Aunt Becky,
Mhm.
Jesse, and the dad, and who was the uncle? The funny
The
uncle.
other uncle, the one who did the voices.
Yes, they were. I think they all became supporting roles. And then, of course, DJ, she was one of the lead roles.
She was
Stephanie
on the
was one
lead
of the lead
roles.
roles.
Uh
Kimmy, she came back to reprise her role. She was one of the lead roles. And then you had their kids who were like, I guess, the main leads.
huh. Hmm.
You know, I guess DJ, Stephanie, and Kim were supporting lead roles. I guess you can say
Hmm.
that, and then the kids became the leading roles because that's who it was about at this point.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, they all came back. But it wasn't like in every show. They would just come back sporadically or whatever.
Okay.
Hmm.
But see, that's another thing though. For the most part, even if they weren't on every episode growing up, you know, it was hard not to still feel their presence
Right,
in those
right,
episodes.
right.
Like Aunt Becky, she might not have been in every single episode, but you knew she was there.
Yes, right.
Jesse, he might not have been in every single episode growing up, but he was still there. Like
He was
it
still
was
there.
hard for him not. It was nearly impossible for him to be gone for like say three episodes.
Right,
You didn't see
right,
stuff like that.
right.
So, but now, like I said, I think for a lot of us, it was probably still the whole Mary Kate and Ashley thing.
Mary Kate and Ashley thing,
They weren't
absolutely.
there.
And speaking of those shows too, I know we're like talking about this like for a long time, but speaking of those shows right there, their theme songs is what captured me. Did you know? Like if you go back and rewatch, like Family Matters, Step by Step,
Mhm.
and Full House, they all had pretty much the same style theme songs. Have
Some of them
you
definitely,
noticed
definitely
that?
did.
Yeah.
I think it was a network thing because, like, even
Mm.
if you watch shows on the CW or I think it's CBS, not CBS. What is it now? The CW.
Oh, I
The
forget.
WB. It used to be like the
Okay.
WB, then I think it's now it's the CW now. But
Yes.
some of their shows, like Dawson's Creek and what was it, Seven Heaven. When you watch the
Mm,
shows and you heard the theme songs, some of
yes.
them sound a little bit similar, but
Oh,
it also
wow.
draws you in.
It draws
You
you
know,
in. Yeah.
because you just knew, like you could be in the kitchen cooking and
Hmm.
have the TV on in the background, and then you hear the things like you were like,
Right. 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 Yes. You were like, oh my
you start humming
gosh.
the song, you're like, okay, let me see what episode is. Let me peek around the
Right.
corner, see
Right.
what starts.
See,
Oh,
and I
oh, this might
just
be the episode where they bring so and so back.
right. And I just got my nephews and my nieces pretty much hooked on Step by Step. They have never seen Step by Step, but
Yeah,
HBO
see,
Max, they have it on HBO Max now. So, they'll watch it. And my niece, she says she wanna watch a show about the roller coaster.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh,
mm.
I say Step by Step. I say, oh, okay, because she
See, that would threw me off.
that's what
That
she
would threw me off.
remembers.
I would have been thinking that she's talking about Final Destination.
Oh no, no,
No, we ain't
no.
showing you that
Right.
because
No.
our
She was
whole
like, I wanna watch
generation
a show
is
about the roller
scarred from
coaster.
that.
So so definitely. But my nieces and my nephews, they already loved, Family Matters and all this stuff. So they know Steve Urkel. And speaking of Family Matters, the whole Steve Urkel thing was a huge, it wasn't a mistake, but it was like
That's why I
supposed to
said
have been
he
like a
started as a
one-time
supporting
thing.
actor, and then
Right.
he was so light that
Right.
he became a main
He became
character.
a main character and he
Yes.
became everywhere. And like whenever they would advertise Family Matters, they would just show his picture and you'd be like, oh, that's Steve Urkel. And some
That
people used to
is
call it the Steve
see,
Urkel show.
the funny thing to me is growing up, most of us did not call the show, any show for that matter, by its name.
By its name. Mm-mm.
Because Family Matters seriously became I'm watching
Steve
Steve Urkel.
Urkel. Uh-huh. I'm watching Steve Urkel.
I'm watching Steve Urkel.
Right. Right.
Like it seriously became that.
Right.
I'm trying to think of another show that we probably did not necessarily call it by its name, but either by a main character or something that they was known for in the show.
Right.
But
Sister was one because you could say I'm watching Tia and Tamara, and they
yeah,
automatically know like, yo, you're
yeah,
watching Sister.
hmm
So. And I don't
definitely.
think Sister like really Sister they hit, but I think they hit when they became a little bit older,
Older,
and
yeah,
when that theme song
yeah.
changed from that original theme song to them singing it, and you be like, okay, bitch, okay.
And I think because when they got older, they stopped doing the intro that they would when they was talking in the room.
Right.
I think it
Mm-hmm.
would just cut straight into a scene.
Yeah, cut straight
You
into a
know,
scene. Yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I don't think none of us called it Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I think we
No,
all just said Fresh Prince,
your Fresh
just straight
Prince.
Fresh Prince.
Right, right. You know exactly who he
Mhm.
was talking about.
We did not say the Bel Air part. We just Fresh Prince.
And you know what? To this day, I have never seen the new spinoff or the new remake of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Really,
I have not seen it yet. I have to. I have
I
to
would
catch that.
say I would say watch it, and I have to watch it and keep an extremely open mind with the first episode
Okay.
because, like we keep saying, when you try to redo something, you have to know what you're doing. You have to
Yeah.
do it correctly, you know, and keeping an open mind. I was like, okay, I'm gonna see how this is gonna go, and I was like, okay, it's the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but it's not the
Mm.
Fresh Prince of Bel Air. You have that crossover of the storylines, but they was able to do it in a way to, like I said, just the newer generation could watch it and be like, okay.
So let me get this. It's because my favorite on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, the TV show, was Hillary. I used to love some dog on Hillary.
See,
Is that character still the same, or did they tone her down?
here's the thing. With each character, they were able to incorporate the originals, but bring them into a different lighting. So,
Okay.
like with Hillary being really kind of dingy and about like say the money and the fashion things of that nature. You see parts of that, but at the same time you're like, okay, that's a different Hillary.
Oh,
Same thing with
okay.
Ashley. Since you haven't watched it, I was gonna let you just watch it, and we can maybe discuss it at a later date or something.
Okay.
But even Ashley is different. Jazz different.
Mm.
No, um,
I remember Jazz.
Jazz.
He used to get tossed out the door a
Yeah,
lot, you know. And
Jazz became more
he
of a
was
main
always in the
character versus
same
a
shirt.
supporting character.
You said
But
he's a
Jazz became more
supporting.
of a main character versus a supporting character.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
they incorporated Jazz a bit more into the newer Fresh Prince. Well, I think it's called
Gotcha.
Bel Air. I think they just into Bel Air. I haven't watched season two. I need to watch season two to get caught up. But
Okay.
it, like I said, it's Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but it's not Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Got
If that
you.
makes sense.
Got
Like I said,
you.
so you watch it, you're like, okay, well, from the original to this, okay, that kind of lines up. Oh, they went a little more in depth with that particular storyline, from the original, and it brings a little bit more lighting to it. Okay, I see
Mm.
what y'all did there. So if you watch it, you're like, okay, I can get down with this. I would say most of us like we can get down with this.
Got
Versus
you.
sitting there watching and then like, well, y'all just did nothing but copy and paste.
Right, right. Well, I'm gonna have to go check that show out though, for real,
Yeah.
because I've been hearing a lot of people talking about it and stuff, and there's been a lot of good reviews in there.
Mhm.
I haven't heard nobody talk anything negative about Bel Air, so I'm gonna have to check that out.
Oh yeah,
But
it's really good. It's really good. Like I said, because I can't remember. I would have to watch the very first episode of Fresh Prince of Bel Air to see how it lines up. But if I'm not
mm,
mistaken, it really was just like boom, boom, boom. Stars in Philly. This happens. You're in Bel Air now.
oh wow,
But with the new one, it gave a whole theme to it of how it led up, what happened, why he's in Bel Air, why
got you.
Will is in Bel Air, so
That makes
it
sense.
really it really has like a soap opera feel to it, like
Mm,
a very dramatic show.
okay,
So I will also say that now for those of you who have not seen the new Bel Air, it has its funny moments, but it's not a sitcom.
got you,
Yeah,
got you. I have to
it's
keep
not a
that in
sitcom.
mind. Okay,
So yeah.
all right, cool.
So you have your moments, but yeah, just keep that in mind.
Well, guys, let us know your favorite moments from the L&D show, and let us know your favorite sitcoms as well. Because, oh, Living Single, got to shout them out too. Living Single is one of
Yes.
those shows too, you know.
Uh, Speaking of living single, did you grow up thinking that Maxine was the one dancing in the background? Doing it?
Yes, I did. I thought it was Maxine, and then again I thought it was what's her name? Kim Fields.
Kim Fields.
I was like,
See, it
maybe
was the
that's Kim
locks for me. It was the
Fields.
hairdo for me.
Right. But
Because
you know,
the
Kim.
dancer had the same hairdo as Max.
Oh, got you,
And that's
got
why I
you.
always thought it was Max. And they brought to light who the dancer was. And everybody from our generation was like, this whole
Oh,
time I thought that was Max.
oh wow! Look, child. I used to love me some Maxine on Living Single. I loved her on Living Single. She was well. It was always Khadijah for me. Then it fell Max. Then it fell Regine for me.
Mm-hmm.
Then it fell Sinclair. You know, but Khadijah and Maxine, they were like always my favorites, pretty much
Yes.
out of that.
See, I resonated more with Khadijah.
Hmm.
I loved all of them,
Yeah, of
as a
course.
whole. So when it came, pretty much, um, Khadijah and darn it, if you just say all the
Kyle.
names, Kyle, I resonated mostly with those two.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
can't sit here and lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat or anything like everybody knows I'm bougie. So when it came down to
That's
Cal
true.
and how he dressed and how he presented himself
Yeah.
and how he talked, I was like, that was so me growing up.
Right. Look, see? See?
But Khadijah was, smart, sophisticated, put together. She had her, rough edges, but she was about her business.
She was about her
So, and
business.
that was, I felt like it was me. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm about my business. I have a goal. I have a set deadline, and Khadijah
Mm-hmm.
was that person. Everybody wanted to, be with Khadijah. So
Right.
I felt like
And
it was me.
Erica Alexander, who played Maxine, she was one of the Cosby kids too.
Exactly.
And for her to become a lawyer, that kind of paid homage to Claire Huxtable and to her role in the Cosbys back then. So it's like, those
If I'm
Cosby
not
kids.
mistaken, I think what I heard was they took her from the Cosbys, put her in a different world, and then from a different world to living
Living
single,
single.
and tried to keep that storyline of her becoming a lawyer.
Got you.
I,
Got
I
you.
could be completely wrong, but let's say she went from the Cosbys
Yeah.
to a different world, so the college years, and
Yep.
then went into uh
Living single.
living single. And not only that kind of confirmed it for me, but there was an actor, I forgot what, it was like her best friend from college. I forgot who it was, but she came out as lesbian on the
Mm.
show. And she also played in a different world.
Okay.
Uh, so if I can think of her name, I'll say it. But she was one of Maxine's friends
You're not
in a
talking about
different world.
Summer. Not talking about
So
Freddie. Was her
Freddie,
name
Freddie,
Freddie?
that was Freddie.
Freddie
No,
on.
I thought Freddie was the. Was it Freddie? I could have sworn Freddie was the more, wild one. Not wild, but
Freddie
free
was the
spirit.
wild one. She was the wild one. So it
I
might
thought she
not
was the
have been
free
her.
spirit. There was
Yes.
another one. She had locks as well, or like
Okay.
not locks, but she had like back in the day they had like they didn't have long plaits. It was like the bob type plaits.
Mm-hmm.
So it was her. She was short, dark skin. I don't think it was
Oh,
Freddie.
you talking about you said short and dark skinned.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about the one she was a doctor? She became a doctor on a different world.
I
You're
think so.
talking about, oh shoot, it was Whitley Dwayne, Whitley Dwayne, um I want to say her name was Kim on the show.
Was it Kim?
I think her
I
name
think
was
it
Kim on
may
the
have been
show.
Kim. May
Yes,
have
I
been
believe
Kim.
her name was Kim because Dwayne's mom always wanted Dwayne to be with Kim because she was gonna be a doctor
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. So
But
which
she
one with
she
Whitley?
guest starred. She had a whole episode,
I
and
remember that.
yeah, because she was getting
Hmm.
married.
Yep.
So yeah,
Was she the one that came to visit and she was always wanting something? She was like wanting something from Khadijah
I don't
because
think so.
she. Okay, wait. We might be talking about two different people then, because there was another person from a different world who came on, and her name was Kim, and she was the doctor. She was the doctor on a different world, and she came to visit Khadijah on Living
Mm-hmm.
Single as, I guess, a friend from college or whatever. But she came to pretty much use Khadijah for whatever
Well,
it
see, this was
was.
she was Max's. Her and
She
Max
was
were connected in the
Max's
show.
friend.
So I think she knew of Khadijah, but it wasn't like friends of Khadijah
Got
on the
you.
show. At least
That's
not in Living
crazy how that
Single.
all trickles down
I
though
say it's
to the
because like
show.
from the Cosbys to a different world to Living Single,
Living
it was
single.
like certain producers tried to keep the storylines
Yeah.
connected, and if you wasn't paying attention, you never would have got it.
Right.
No.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I used to watch A Different World, but I don't remember the entire cast of the late series, like towards the
Mm-hmm.
end. I know Jada Pinkett, she was in there too
She
towards
was
the
in
end.
there.
Um I wanna
There were
say
so many
it was so
people
many.
in a different world. Like it really truly gave you college
It
vibes
did.
because they had
It
like
did.
an array of people, so many different storylines, and it would be like some episodes you would see everybody. Other
Mm-hmm.
episodes you would see two or three people. Then another episode it was like, okay, we're going to do another two or three people.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't see the same cast every single episode
Right. Right.
because there was so many different storylines with a different world, but they all ended up coming back
They all
around.
came back around.
So
And I remember what was I about to say? Dang it, Devonte, I lost my train of thought. And it was about a different world. Shoot. Go ahead, it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me.
But
Hell.
see, but that's another thing about Hollywood and the entertainment industry that I love. Dwayne and Whitley. I
Mm.
just seen a clip. I don't know what movie this was, but Whitley in the movie had saw Dwayne. She was like, "You look like somebody I know from college." Oh, there was a different.
Mm.
No, no,
They
no. She said,
kind
she
of.
said, she said there was a different world.
Oh,
She's like,
wow.
that was a different world. And I was like,
Oh, wow. See?
it is funny how they would do things like that. And if you don't know what they're talking about sometimes,
Yeah.
you will not catch
You
it.
would not catch it. You
Like,
would
you
not
will
catch
not
it.
catch it.
That is
Because she was like,
funny.
you like somebody who I used to talk to or date in college. Oh, that was a
Mm.
different world.
Oh, wow. See? Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing. But there would never be shows like that to this day,
It is
ever.
hard to find. And I remember telling a friend this. I was like, growing up, I don't know if everybody went through this whole thing of your parents not liking cartoons
Hmm.
or they stopped liking certain sweets. Their
Yeah.
sweets were far in between. I was like, I feel myself doing that now because the
Mm.
cartoons that are on TV, some of the shows that are on TV, and the kids love them. I was like, it just don't make sense.
Mm-mm.
The
Mm-mm.
amount of sugar that I ain't take now, I'm like, that's too sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just need a tiny piece of cake and
Right.
just get my craving, and I'm good.
Right. Right. Oh, I know what I was about to say about a different world. That it was centered around. It was supposed to have been centered around Denise, the character from the Cosby's or whatever. It was supposed to have been like her spinoff show
Hmm.
as a breakout character or whatever, because everybody loved Denise and the Cosby's.
Hmm.
But her and of course I heard stories, throughout the way or whatever about how her and Bill never got along like
Alone.
that, and she became pregnant like the first season of A Different World. And so they were trying to figure out like if they were going to keep her. Debbie Allen, she wanted to keep Denise,
Hmm.
whatever her name, Lisa Bonet, her real name. She wanted to keep her on the show because she was like, it's college, there are kids that's having babies every single day, and we can definitely use this. But it was Bill Cosby who was like, no, Denise is not pregnant. Like Lisa Bonet is pregnant, but not Denise.
Yeah.
So he kept that totally clear, and Debbie Allen was trying to fight him for that, like keep her on the show. We need this. Like we need to have real life situations. And he told her absolutely not. So he pretty much fired Denise from, or Lisa Bonet from A Different World. And then after she had the baby, she came back
Came back.
to the Cosby Show. So it was like throughout that period, and like everything was estranged between them two because they was like they didn't talk. Bill and Lisa Bonet did not talk until they had scenes
See,
together.
I think Bill wanted to keep that purity, you
Hmm.
know, and that's one of the reasons why I always say, we as an audience need to learn how to split apart the person or the
Hmm.
actress from the
Yeah.
character.
Right.
You
Right.
know, I support cancel culture, but at the same time, I'm like, it
Mm.
depends on what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of like, R. Kelly.
Right.
Love, love, love the music. Love the music. But
Mm.
him as a man, I'm like, you got some things about you. You
Yeah.
got some ways about you.
No
But
partner. Mm-mm.
your music,
Yeah.
well, there's been so many graduations where people have sung "I Believe I Could Fly." Like that was the staple song.
Mm.
So, like, you would not have that without R. Kelly. But
Right.
it's the same way with like A Different World with some of their characters and things that was going on behind the scenes. Like Lizzie Lohan with some of
Mm.
her work and everything. She was
Right.
out here in these streets, doing that stuff. But her
Yeah.
characters,
Yes.
her acting, it was great, it was phenomenal.
Right.
Amanda Bynes is just now getting back to a point,
Oh,
or trying to get back to a point where she's on the mainstream again. But we loved Amanda
right.
Bynes growing up, So if you watch, I think what was it, All That,
All that.
you've seen
Mm-hmm.
Amanda
That's where she
Bynes, you've
came.
seen
Yep.
her movies and everything, but she was going to have some things going on behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
So you have to learn how to not necessarily cancel the whole package.
Right.
Just be like, get yourself together. I mean,
I
people
think that's
absolutely love
what
Britney Spears.
I think that's what happened with going back to Denise and Bill Cosby, or Lisa Bonet and Bill Cosby. I think that's what happened with him and Lisa Bonet. He was trying to compare her to Denise
Hmm.
Huxtable, who was just a character. She's of
Yeah.
course one of Cliff's kids and everything, but I guess he tried to push that on her that you are Denise. Like
Mm,
all of you are a Huxtable. So all of you are going to make it in life and this is that. And I think that's what he pushed on them. And so far it pretty much fell into the mindset of course, Rudy Huxtable,
hmm.
Keisha Knight Pulliam, and of course the guy who played Theo, Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Hmm.
It fell into their mindsets that hey, we're Huxtable, so we got to pretty much do this throughout the rest of our lives and have a
Certain
positive.
things they have to behave certain ways,
Exactly.
and I will say with Theo, some of the things that he's played in, it kind of definitely spins off from his later
Mm,
years with the Cosbys, because
yes.
he kind of acts in a way like, okay, yeah, I have a
Right.
prominent family.
Right. Right.
I don't want to mess up this image. I don't want to do this. I want to do that. I need to definitely home it in and make sure that I don't disgrace myself. Like he
Yes.
played on this episode called Accused. I played 8 episodes in this show called Accused,
I haven't seen that.
where he owned his own business. He had a family and everything, and he was being accused of murder. And
Hey,
he
Vicky.
pretty much had to show, no, I'm not that person.
Mm,
I'm not that person. So yeah. And then Keisha, she went through the whole, I think, rehab thing, and she's like, this is
mm.
not me. This is not me. I need to get back to what's me. So
Right. I think how she broke out of that role as being like a Huxtable child is, didn't she play like a prostitute in one of Tyler Perry's
she
movies?
did.
She
She did.
did. That was her breaking out of that Huxtable type of, because everybody still called her Rudy.
I
Everybody
did.
still call her, and to this day, whenever
Hmm.
you see her, you're like, oh, that's Rudy,
Hmm.
But to Keisha, she was like, no, I'm Keisha. I'm not Rudy.
That's what I said. Everybody needs to learn how to separate the
Yes.
person from the character.
Yeah.
Because and that's why I think it was probably always hard for a lot of us, seeing Disney characters,
Mm-hmm.
grow up and do certain things, especially the early 2000s characters.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
watch Miley Cyrus, and you see her now, you be like, oh,
Yeah.
Miley,
That's Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana. That's
Right.
Hannah Montana.
That's Hannah
And
Montana.
she's showing cleavage.
Right. Like you would
you know,
never.
the Jonas Brothers, I mean, it was the exact same way. I
Yeah.
mean, so the first time somebody saw Nick, shirtless, you like,
Damn.
my lord, I don't know if I should say put a shirt on or just have impure
All
thoughts.
right. Can I see a can you step back a little
Hey,
bit and just take
Nicholas.
off your pants and just be in your boxers or
But
be in your briefs or
I mean, a
whatever?
lot of things, and I think Raven, she was one of the people who had to be like, "Hey, we're actors.
We're actors.
We're
And
actors."
she was one of the ones who actually was in an interview, and she talked about, because one of the interviewers asked her like, how did you not get into trouble, as being like a Disney kid? And Raven, she was honest. She was like, I wouldn't like everybody else, but I wouldn't go out to these places where you're gonna be known. She was
Mm,
like, I go to places like small places or whatever, have fun with my friends.
mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be seen because when you're seen, that's when people create these false narratives and all that stuff and putting you
See,
into this space.
not only that, but Raven had always been a Hollywood kid.
She always had been a Hollywood kid.
She's always been a Hollywood kid. So
And
a
she
lot
and
of
she's
things
she's
she was
actually a
probably
Huxtable
tired of.
too. She was actually with the Cosbys.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. A lot of things
Mhm.
she was probably tired of. You
Yeah.
know, when you're 4 or 5 years old and people are swarming you, peaching your cheeks, wanting to get a
Yeah.
signature, and you can barely even write as it is,
Right.
and your parents are trying to pick you up and run you to the,
Yeah.
across traffic to another road or something. She probably had already gotten tired of
And
it.
she
While
probably
some
got
of these
tired of it.
characters are 14, 15,
Right.
moving into their 20s, and they're just now experiencing it.
Right.
So it's like, they're like, yeah, it's whatever.
Right. And that's another person I would love to have on the show is
I
Raven.
would too.
Because I would love to just hear her story. Like how long did you struggle with knowing that you were a lesbian?
See, I knew there was always something about Raven that I
Mm-hmm.
connected with. I couldn't figure it
Mm-hmm.
out. And I had
Right.
always said that she was my wife. I was like,
Oh wow.
Raven Simone or Samoye is
Simone.
is my wife. I
Mm.
don't know why I always felt that way, but it's like ever since I first laid my eyes on her, I was like, that's my wife.
Wow. Oh
And
gosh.
then for both of our lives to go the paths that they went and everything, I was
Mm.
like, huh, we're of the same community.
Right.
I've
Right.
always felt that connection,
Right.
you know.
Definitely.
But I, I,
Definitely.
I promise, since the very first time I saw her, I mean, I saw her in the Cosby's, but of
Yes.
course,
Hang up
Dr.
Mr.
Doolittle.
Cooper.
Yeah, like shows like that. I was like, it's something about her. It's
Did you
something
say
about
did you
her.
say Dr. Doolittle?
Dr. Doolittle.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah, she was in Dr. Doolittle,
Yep,
wasn't she? She was.
yep.
Yep. She
She was the
was.
older sister.
She was.
Hmm.
That's right. That's right. But I think the breakout character from that became Kyla Pratt, right? Because she
Kyla
got those
Pratt,
spinoffs.
because she ended up having her own. Because Raven was doing more projects than Kyla was at the time.
Yes. Yes.
So Kyla ended up being the breakout character of Dr. Doolittle. She ended up having, I think, like the very last movie or two movies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like I said, with Raven, like I think at the exact same time she was doing Dr. Doolittle, she was doing Xenon.
That's
So yeah.
right.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes. I remember that show.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So I think she was doing all of that at the same time. So it's like,
She was
mm,
juggling, honey.
she was juggling.
Right.
She was juggling.
What?
So yeah.
Hey. Well, definitely put that out in the universe, y'all. But look, thank you so much for joining me on tonight's show, Devonte. I know it's not, our regular show, but it
No, but
but it did throw us back,
it's
to
like the
those
original.
old times when it was just me and you on the show
Yes,
holding it down. So
exactly.
but definitely shout out to our other co-hosts, Tamika, aka T, and shout out to Tina as well. And there's also Des, who's a part of the L&D show as well. So shout out to y'all. But let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and more. So make sure you guys are doing y'all's part and clicking the subscribe button. But not only click the subscribe button, click that bell too to be
And
notified when we drop
share,
like our
share,
latest
share,
content.
share,
And
share,
share.
share.
Definitely share. Definitely
I used to
share.
say, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your goldfish.
Not the goldfish.
Please.
Not the goldfish.
I don't care who you tell, just tell somebody.
Tell somebody, honey.
Somebody.
Right. Well, we love y'all for watching and thank y'all for tuning in to the L&D show. On that note, I am yours truly, Lala.
I'm Devonte.
And we will see y'all back next Tuesday. So have a great one, guys, and have a great week.
See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.